Let's dive right into this explainer on consumer mathematics. Today, we're unpacking the fundamental rules of how money actually works. We're going to explore the two very different sides of the financial coin, how to make your cash work brilliantly for you to build wealth, and, well, on the flip side, how easily it can work heavily against you if you aren't careful with credit and debt.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with building wealth through savings and investments, looking at exactly how interest grows your money. Then, we'll tackle the darker side of that coin by looking at managing credit, understanding debt, and calculating loans. We'll wrap it all up with a quick summary at the end.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Savings and Account Types.
Now, every time you deposit money at a bank, you're essentially making a trade-off, and you usually have three main choices. A savings account offers maximum flexibility. You can withdraw anytime using an ATM, but the trade-off is a pretty low interest rate. Then you have a fixed deposit account. This one asks you to lock your money away for a set duration, maybe 3 months or a year, and in exchange, it rewards you with a much higher interest rate. Finally, there's the current account. This is designed more for business or heavy personal use. It pays absolutely no interest, but it offers check facilities and overdrafts. That means you can actually withdraw beyond your balance, though you'll definitely pay interest on that extra amount.
And if you're looking into Islamic banking, the crucial point to understand is that it operates entirely differently from conventional banks. It's based strictly on Islamic law, meaning it's halal, it focuses on justice, and it completely avoids usury, or traditional interest. Instead, if you save money under the principle of wadiya, which translates to safekeeping, the bank manages the risk for you. When it matures, instead of a fixed interest rate, the returns are shared. The bank might even give you a hiba, which is basically a gift just to reward you for keeping your money with them.
Moving right on to Section 2, the magic of interest. Okay, so there are two main ways your money grows. Simple interest gives you a steady, predictable reward that's calculated only on your original deposit. We call that the principal. But compound interest, that is where the real magic happens. With compound interest, you earn interest on your principal and you earn interest on the interest you've already accumulated from previous months or years. It's literally an exponential growth machine. Before we get into the math, I need to point out a huge trap that catches so many people off guard. In the simple interest formula, where interest equals principal times the interest rate times time, or I equals PRT, the time, T, must always be in years. Always. So if a bank tells you the term is 6 months, you have to immediately divide that by 12 in your equation. Let's see this in action with a quick example featuring Ms. Wong. She deposits 10,000 ringgit at a 4% annual rate for 6 months. By converting her 6-month term into 6/12 of a year, finding her simple interest is an absolute breeze. We just multiply 10,000 by 4/100 and then multiply that by 6/12. Her total interest earned? 200 ringgit. Simple, right? Now let's see how this builds when we use compound interest. Take Mrs. Lu Fong. She saves 15,000 ringgit at 4% for 3 years. But crucially, her interest is compounded every 6 months. That means twice a year, so our frequency, n, equals 2. We plug this into the matured value formula, which just calculates her final total. Because she compounds twice a year, the bank recalculates her interest based on a newly inflated principal every 6 months. Her final savings jump to 16,892 ringgit and 44 cents. The takeaway here? The higher the compounding frequency, the higher your future value.
Let's jump into Section 3, Smart Investment Strategies.
To figure out if an investment is actually any good, we use ROI, or Return on Investment. Take Ensek Yusuf's shop lot sale, for instance. He bought it for 600,000 ringgit. Over time, he collected 200,000 in rent. Nice. When he finally sold it, after clearing his bank loans and all the fees, he made a capital gain of 256,000 ringgit. By adding his rental income to his capital gain, his total return was 456,000 ringgit. If we divide that by his initial 600,000 cost, we calculate a massive 76% return on investment.
When you're buying shares, how you buy matters just as much as what you buy. Instead of throwing all your money in at once like Puan Linda did with a lump sum investment, which, let's be honest, is incredibly risky and emotional, you can use a ringgit cost averaging strategy like Mrs. Esther Wong did. By investing a fixed amount regularly, regardless of what the stock market is doing, you naturally buy more units when the price is low and fewer when the price is high. This fundamentally lowers your average cost per share and completely removes the emotion from trading. It's a game changer.
All right, time to flip the coin. Section 4, Understanding Credit and Debt.
It's really important to understand the difference between these two terms. Credit is simply a facility. It's an agreement that lets you postpone payment. For example, a credit card gives you credit. Debt, however, is the actual heavy reality of that choice. It's the amount of money you have borrowed using that credit facility that you haven't yet settled with the bank.
Credit cards are fantastic for convenience and rewards, but here's the catch, and it's a big one. You usually get a 20-day interest-free period. If you miss that window and don't pay your full balance, banks will hit you with a massive annual interest rate of up to 18%. And get this, they calculate that charge on a daily basis.
Let me show you exactly how this trap works. Ensik Ahmad has a credit card balance of 5,200 ringgit. The bank allows a 5% minimum payment, which is 260 ringgit. He decides to pay just the minimum, leaving a balance of 4,940 ringgit. Because he didn't pay in full, the bank instantly starts charging daily interest, usually 18% divided by 365 days, on that remaining balance. Over just 15 days, that adds 36 ringgit and 54 cents to his debt. It might not sound like a lot instantly, but it quickly wipes out your cash over time if you keep doing this month after month.
Which brings us to Section 5, calculating loan repayments. It's absolutely vital to know your loan type before signing any papers. A flat interest rate charges you based on the original total loan amount for the entire duration of the loan. The interest never gets smaller. On the other hand, an interest on balance loan is much friendlier to you as a consumer. Why? Because the amount of interest you're charged drops every single month as you pay down your principal balance.
By walking step by step through a flat interest car loan, we can see how simple this math really is. Mrs. Lim buys an 80,000 ringgit car. She pays a 10% down payment, which is 8,000, leaving her with a 72,000 ringgit loan. The bank charges a 4% flat interest rate over 6 years. Using our I equals PRT formula, her total interest comes out to 17,280 ringgit. We add that to her loan and her total repayment is 89,280 ringgit. Divide that total by 72 months and we easily find her monthly installment is 1,240 ringgit.
And finally, Section 6, Summary and Revision Tips.
So, let's recap the crucial takeaways for mastering consumer mathematics. First, always remember to put time in years when calculating simple interest. Second, leverage compound interest and understand that how often it compounds changes your returns. Third, utilize a ringgit cost averaging strategy to beat the emotional stress of lump sum investing. On the debt side, always pay off those credit cards entirely within the 20-day interest-free period before that 18% daily interest hits. And finally, always know whether your loan is a flat rate or interest on balance.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Are you using mathematics to make your money work for you, or are you working just to pay off your debt to the bank? Financial mathematics isn't just some abstract subject for exams. It's the ultimate real-world tool to ensure you're building your own wealth rather than just funding someone else's. So dive into your own accounts this week and take a hard look at which side of the coin you're currently on. Catch you next time.